plus years. You know, some of you been here longer. You know, and why is it that you never excel? I mean, you have a handful of Jakes that excel, but when these nations come over to this country, they all excel, all of them. The majority of them, at least 95% or more of them excel. They have brand new freaking cars. They have businesses. They have houses.
They got houses. All them Koreans and them Africans and them Arabs. You notice they come into your communities, right? And they're there every day. They're there for like 18 hours. You know, they got their fruit stands and their corner grocery stores and so forth. And if you watch them leaving, they'll close the gates down, and they don't go. They don't walk up the street. They don't go to the projects. They leave town, man. They go to their nice house in New Jersey, or up there in Scarsdale, or some nice area, man. They don't live among you, man. So you're gonna tell me that's not a conspiracy?
Yeah, it's all designed that way. You know, you have a scripture.
Yeah. The word conspiracy means to breathe together, and you know, you got the people that the elites that are high up in this government, the banking families, the top elite. They're the ones that are spearheading the conspiracy against you Jakes, against you Israelites. Now that's recorded in the book of Psalms 83, beginning at the first verse. It says, "Keep not thou silence, O Yahweh, and hold not thy peace, and be not still." And through us, you know, beginning here with the apostles of Great Millstone on down, we're not keeping silence. You know, it's our job to mention these things and to show it in scriptures. Right. You know, that there is indeed a conspiracy, and the New World Order, we're supposed to talk about it. We're supposed to prove, according to the scriptures, that the New World Order is really, which the so-called white man wants to bring, the New World Order is really to try to bring you back into slavery, try to bring you Jakes, you tribes, back into oppression. Because that's what the so-called white man was set up. He was set up to be our instrument of oppression. All right, so reading on, it says, "For lo, thine enemies make a tumult." Another word for tumult is a conspiracy, which means breathe together. Why do you think they have these secret meetings? Behind secret closed doors, you have something called secret societies. Now, in those secret societies, they get together and they discuss your tribes, how they can further oppress you and finally corral you into slavery, total oppression. You know, how they can put that chip inside of you, which the chip represents total control. All right? So it says, "For lo, thine enemies make a tumult." That's why they have these secret societies behind closed doors. An example is the Bohemian Grove, which they just had their meeting the last 2 weeks of July. They just had their meeting, those elites. And I guarantee you Jakes was at the top of the topic. Reading on, it says, "And they that hate thee have lifted up the head." So they hate us. And lifted up the head means they're behaving proud against us. That's why they have something called the chemtrails, which they're predominantly dropping in the cities, which is where you Jakes are, you tribes are. That's part of the conspiracy, the chemtrails. "They have taken crafty counsel against thy people." What is that? Conspiracy. "They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones." And just like Apostle Tahar said, these top elites, they know exactly who you are. They got the records. They know that you're the Israelites, and they know that you're going to put them in slavery. That's why they made that movie back in 1968, Planet of the Apes. And in the movie, it shows you, you know, the apes were a metaphor for you tribes, you Jakes. And they show you the apes putting so-called white people in slavery, having them as slaves. All right, so they know the deal. They know the truth. "They have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones." The reason why it says hidden ones, because we're hidden to our nationality on the whole. There's no such thing as African American, Negro, Puerto Rican, West Indian, Mexican. That's not your true biblical nationality. Your true biblical nationality is that you're the Hebrew Israelites of the respective tribes. Like the so-called Mexicans, you would be of the tribe of Issachar. The so-called Negroes, you of the tribe of Judah. And the top elites, they know this. They know all this information. They have the records. That's why the scripture said that they have consulted against thy hidden ones. What is hidden is your nationality. And that's the biggest kept secret in America today, that you so-called Negroes are the real Jews. That the so-called white man that calls himself a Jew is not a Jew, according to the Bible.
Yeah, let me say something right here. You had read across the word tumult, right? I looked it up.
Yeah, tumult.
And,
Yep.
tumult. The word is Hebrew, from the Hebrew word hamah. But if you go to it, it says to murmur, growl, roar, cry aloud, mourn, rage, sound, make noise, tumult. But anyway, in other words, they really want, they fight over in secret meetings how we're going to get rid of these niggas.
Exactly.
You know?
Yeah, they have the heated spirited arguments. Like, I'm going to give you an example. You have a guy by the name, supposedly is an ex-CIA Satanist, which is bullshit. Once you get in, you don't get out. The only way you get out is through death of these different secret societies. And the guy's name is Michael Mahoney, and he made a statement. He said, we have lusted for the hour when we can get our hands on the Christians. All right?
And that's a meaning of tumult.
Yeah, that's the very definition of tumult. That's
tumult is a war cry.
Con.
That's basically what it is.
Yeah.
But I looked this up. Now I clicked on that the etymology of the word, the root of the word, and the word there is hawam, which is the root of hama. Okay. Now it says this: to distract, ring again, make a great noise, murmur, roar, discomfort, be moved, to discomfort, to be in a stir. What's happening out there in Missouri?
Mm-hmm.
That's it is a distraction.
Right.
Because those are the steps of setting up a martial law.
That's right.
And once that thing gets calmed down, something else is going to happen. Right now, as we speak, Al Sharpton, the good Reverend Al Sharpton, he the sellout, the FBI agent provocateur, he's marching over the Verrazano's Narrows Bridge, protesting the choking death of what's this guy, Eric Garner.
Yeah.
So
Eric
that's
Garner.
another incident. So you got that incident, then you have this incident that we're dealing with right now out there in Missouri, and then you're gonna have another incident, and you're gonna have another one. And each time, when you have them protesters come out and the media come out in force, you're going to have the cops, the police coming out in their military battle array. And basically, something's going to lead. One thing is going to lead to another. What's going to really kick that thing off? Let's say some crazy niggas come out and just blow away some cops out there. All hell is going to break loose. All hell is going to break loose.
Yeah.
So we at that time. We've been saying it for the longest, and now it's happening. And what they're doing, things are getting stirred up, then things get calmed down. Then it gets stirred up, then it gets calmed down. And this is the reason why this is happening in this way is really because of the Most High.
Yeah.
But eventually, man, this country is going to be a goddamn explosion. All right? Go ahead.
Yeah, well, scripture, the analogy the scripture gives is of a woman in labor pains. We can bring that out. And then the woman, she just bring forth the baby. She has a pain here, pain there. And finally, when the contractions come quicker and quicker, she's about to bring forth that baby. The contractions is really intermittent stages of pain. So that's really what you have with these different police shootings here and police injustice there. Those are the different pains, and it's going to mount up. It's going to come quicker and quicker, and all of a sudden that baby is going to come forth. What is that baby? Destruction. All right. As a matter of fact, if you have the scripture. Okay. Well, while you're looking for it, I'll just read Psalms 83rd chapter. It says, they have taken crafty counsel against thy people and consulted against thy hidden ones. So now you know what the term hidden ones mean. And now you know about the crafty counsel. Right? They have said, come and let us, and your so-called black leaders, they're part of that crafty council too. They've all sold out, man. Like Apostle Tower mentioned, Sharpton is juiced in, man. All right, Sharpton, he takes orders. All right, he has superiors that are over him, which is so-called Jews, which are part of those banking families, or part of those that Illuminati power structure, and they tell that nigger what to do. And he goes out there like a good little